Hello and welcome to Castle Lanes in beautiful Racine, Wisconsin. Van McNeil alongside Phil Brylow. Behind us, over 100 of the best high school bowlers battling it out for the 8th annual MidWinter High School Classic.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. During holiday break, you get these teams together. It's their only inter-district competition of the season before they get to the state tournament in March. These teams really get to see where they stand against the best competition from throughout the state. We've got 11 boys teams, 6 girls teams here battling it out. They're working their way down to the top 2 boys and girls teams right now, and we're going to see those 2 teams in each division in the final matches here today.
We'll see if Indian Hills High School for the girls can defend, while Muskego last year took it for the boys.
Yeah, and they're both back in the field. They both have strong teams again this year. Each team lost a couple of seniors at graduation, but those underclassmen really seem to pick up the pace and step up here at these big tournaments, especially like the MidWinter Classic.
Some of the best high school bowling in Wisconsin coming up right here, the 8th annual MidWinter High School Classic.
Live, on demand, worldwide, Extra Frame is always on. It's the online bowling channel. Watch live qualifying rounds and match play from every PBA Tour stop and every PBA 50 Tour event on your big screen, PC, mobile phone, or tablet. Archived nationally televised shows and content is available 24/7. Extra Frame is always on. Subscribe now at www.extraframe.tv.
Why do we have so many of our televised tournaments at Castle Lanes? Because we love being part of the wild side of bowling. If you're ready to get in touch with your wild side, go to castlelanes.com.
Welcome back to Castle Lanes here in Racine. Van McNeil alongside Phil Brylow for the 2017 MidWinter High School Classic. Phil, it has been jam-packed in this establishment all day as we continue into the high school finals here. High school bowling, huge here in Wisconsin.
Absolutely, and one of the big centers of that is right here at Castle Lanes, home center of Racine Park. And Racine Park, I'll tell you what, had a good run, didn't make it to the finals, but a lot of their players are still here cheering their friends on. And something tells me this match between 2 powerhouses the last couple of years in girls high school bowling in Wisconsin, Indian Trail and Kenosha-Tremper, it's not going to be a blowout, something tells me.
Fast-paced action ahead, 2-game total pin match, right, Phil?
Exactly, and if it happens to be a tie, the team coaches will take 3 bowlers for an 8th, 9th, and 10th frame roll-off. We haven't had one of those yet here in our MidWinter High School Classic, this 8th edition, but you never know what might happen. And we have Carly Dostal from Indian Trail starting us off. She's a junior.
You feel the nerves in here. Comes up heavy on the head pin.
Yeah, a little bit of the leadoff bowler nerves, but that's the thing with the leadoff bowler for these teams. You want somebody who's going to be close to the pocket. They might not carry a strike on the first shot, but the coaches and players know they have a very predictable, easily readable ball reaction, so everybody can make their adjustments off that leadoff bowler, especially when they move pair to pair during qualifying in this tournament.
Ahead of this, and what a lot of you folks out there have not seen, was a long day of qualifying. It's been jam-packed here in Castle Lanes, loud and just a fun atmosphere all day. And then you add in this television final here, and that is different for some of these kids.
It is very different. Faith Rich is stepping up for Tremper.
Sophomore.
First time under the TV lights for Faith. Let's see what she does with that first shot.
Look good, nice and smooth. No hand in that ball.
Yeah, once again, and she has a little bit of a slower ball speed. She needs to get a bowling ball that kind of goes a little bit longer down the lane before it starts to hook. You can see in the replay here, that ball just kind of rolling out, lots of deflection on that bowling ball. And if she had something that went a little bit longer before it started to hook, save some energy, that ball might get to the pocket next time.
Oh yeah, and all the lights and the TV cameras and all that other stuff as well. But she holds her own here. Looks like she's got the spare. She does. A nice conversion for Faith Rich. Kenosha.
Yeah, these bowlers, they bowled 10 qualifying games before getting seeded into bracket competition today. Indian Trail made it to the television show by defeating Oak Creek. They were the #1 seeds, Indian Trail was, coming into the show with Taylor Tilo stepping up in the second frame. That looks like a pretty good shot.
Solid pocket strike for Taylor out of Indian Trail.
Yes, indeed. And Indian Trail, not just the defending champion of this tournament, but the defending Wisconsin State High School Bowling Club champions for the girls in Division I as well.
So there is a possibility here, Phil, of back-to-back championships.
There is a possibility. On the boys' side, not that possibility. Muskego knocked out of the tournament early in match play.
Morgan Heitzer a little high into the pocket there.
You see the boys looking for their spare balls, and that's kind of the nice part. They're the only two teams right now, so they're keeping their spare balls on the lanes next to our championship pair here, lanes 3 and 4 at Castle Lanes.
Just like shooting at a 10.
Okay. Left side of the lane, out to the right, and that's a little too far.
Too far for Morgan Heitzer. Could have to do with the nerves.
It looked like she tried throwing it a little bit too fast there. And sometimes when you get fast, shoulder rotation doesn't close up all the way. The ball leaks out to the right, and obviously, with a polyester ball, it's really not going to hook back. Shay Dostal from Indian Trail, a senior. That's a 700 series. No 300 games yet. High at 278.
I was just looking at that. That's pretty impressive. Also, that pin action pretty impressive there on a light hit, but a strike's a strike, Phil.
Yeah, very low track on that bowling ball. Kind of a spinner release, but she gets that ball rolling at the right place, right time. Little deflection. Head comes off the wall and takes out the 4, 5, and 7.
Crystal George, 15-year-old freshman. Way out there. Didn't think that was going to come back, but gets some lucky pin action and a break from.
Well, playing the drier outside part of the lane, she's using a very aggressive bowling ball, and she's got the ball speed to keep that ball, after it gets off the break point, keep rolling into the pocket, and she carries that light mixer hit. You're not going to see a lot of young ladies out here be able to play that angle that she just played, but works for her, especially with a little bit higher rev rate than we see from other players. Erin Conley, a sophomore.
We are at a mad pace here, this Baker-style format here.
It usually is a pretty mad pace for these Baker tournament games, and how about that for 3 in a row for Indian Trail?
Like the way they're starting off their game. Nice team spirit. All about positivity. Courtney Weiss is a junior out of Tremper. Nice delivery to the line. Maybe a little ball speed and some trouble there in 6.
Yeah, a little bit with the ball speed, a little left of target as well. This modified house shot we use here at Castle Lanes for this Midwinter Classic tournament. There is some room for forgiveness, so if she would have made either a speed error or a target error, she maybe wouldn't have gotten away from having a split.
16 years old, going for it, almost. Good effort, Courtney Weiss.
You know, and that's not a bad choice to do early in the match. Your team's already down. You're trying to get a little momentum builder. The other team's working on 3 in a row, and if you can happen to pick up that tough 6-7 split, it might pump your team up a little bit more. Ashley Poblaski, we've seen her sister Sarah many times, and we saw Ashley on our last telecast.
4 in a row, the ham bone.
Just creeps a little left, a little high. And you see Ashley's sister Sarah, head coach of the Indian Trail team. Sarah, a great career when she was back in the high school days with us here on TV. Still our all-time leading Youth Challenge Series titleist for the girls.
We see that in a lot of high school coaches. They want to give back, and they will continue on the coaching tradition. Oh, my goodness. A rare miss there.
And I think she's a little surprised by that.
Yeah.
Even with going with more direct, the ball doesn't turn over. You can see polyester ball, not a lot of room for error, and when you get it in that little bit of a puddle in the middle, tough to turn over.
No, not going to move at all. You want to go straight and direct with that. Montana Hernandez, she's a junior out of Tremper. Nice solid approach to the line, and oh my God, I thought it was gonna go.
And you just watch it wiggle and not go down. Great ball there by Hernandez.
Even her opponents were like, how did that not go down? Look at that, just that head pin, not able to take out that 7.
Slow 5 steps to the line, but it really gets the ball through, and no problem on the cover.
All right, more from Castle Lanes here in Racine. It's the 2017 Midwinter High School Classic. We'll be right back.
Barbier's Italian Inn, featured in onmilwaukee.com's In Search of the Perfect Pizza in January 2013. Near Miller Park on Bluemont Road and on Milwaukee Avenue in South Milwaukee.
Welcome back to Castle Lanes here in Racine, Wisconsin. Van McNeil alongside Phil Brilwell for the 2017 Midwinter High School Classic. Plus 34 for Indian Trail here, Phil.
Yeah, they are working on an open, however, from the 5th frame, but we'll see what Carly Dostal can do here. Carly, a junior, to get Indian Trail back in the strike column. High game 287, high series is 749.
Nice roll, light pocket hit, able to mix them all up and get a strike.
And that's where you want that number 1 bowler on your team. The bowler that bowls the 1st frame and 6th frame. They got to be able to strike and get the team fired back up again. And a great way there for Carly Dostal to do that. And remember, players, with these Baker's formats, you bowl the 1st and 6th frame, 2nd and 7th, and so on, unless the coach decides to make a substitution.
Back up to Faith Reicha, 16-year-old out of Kenosha Tremper. A little bit of a baby split there.
She made the spare the 1st frame, 2-4-5. She's a little light, so she makes the over adjustment, stepping back up. Goes a little left, and you watch the ball slice through. Even though it's not a high rev bowling ball, these reactive resin bowling balls, you get into a strong roll, it'll keep going strong through the pins. And unfortunately, a little too strong for Faith there as she leaves the baby split.
A doable, makeable spare here. What a conversion for Faith Reicha.
And something tells me she doesn't throw a 16-pound bowling ball there. You look at the deflection off the 3-pin into the 10, so she probably throws a 14-pound ball. And that's probably a good thing on that spare. If she threw 16, it would have hooked through that 3-pin and not gotten near the 10.
Faith throwing the mastermind there.
Taylor Tilo stepping up, struck in her 2nd frame. Another strike here for Taylor in the 7th, and a big double coming out of the commercial break for Indian Trail to get their lead back out to 44 pins.
That is 1, 2, 3, 5 strikes now for Indian Trail. They are on a roll.
They did that all day. They had a tough match getting to this championship match, beating Oak Creek in a best-of-5 match. It went to overtime.
Get that trip 10. Come on, Morgan. Morgan Eitzer, a freshman out of Kenosha Tremper, just can't get that pin action to trip that 10 there, Phil.
Eitzer name known pretty well around Kenosha. Brother Zach was a great player for Kenosha Tremper a few years ago in his high school career. And now you got to keep filling frames here for Tremper. You can't get frustrated. You're down by 45 right now. But all it takes is a couple opens by your opponent and your team stringing a 4-bagger together and you're back in the match, but now you're giving pins away.
Trouble there. Make your spares, kids, as they say. An open, another open for Kenosha Tremper.
Yeah, that's their 3rd open. Only 1 strike in the first 7 frames for Tremper. And if Indian Trail keeps throwing strikes here, it could be match over in a hurry. Shea Dostal looking to get the team out to another 3-bagger.
Nice. Ooh, a little bit of help on the Brooklyn side. Looked like she either threw it a little too slow or she ran into a patch out there somewhere because that ball just took off. Look at that.
Yeah, and with her lower track, it's kind of more of a spinny track. When it does make a grab of the lane, a la Pete Weber, it really makes that move to the left. So if she did get a little bit slow with the speed on that one or missed a little left, it's really going to take off. But just like Pete Weber, a great spare game there by Shea Dostal, not giving any pins back to her opponent. And that lead stays out to almost 60 for Indian Trail.
Gonna see Crystal George here. Kenosha Tremper trying to answer back in any way that they can. A strike would be helpful here.
Tremper made their way to this championship match, defeating number 5 seed Racine Park, the home team here.
That's a big deal.
And they were down 2-1 before coming back and taking the last 2 games through the 3-2 match win. So, and then now it's a little different outlook for these teams as well, because instead of going with a best-of-5 match play as they did to get to the TV show, it's 2-game total pins, so they know you need to get every pin you can in a hurry.
Yeah, direct through the head pin for Crystal there, and able to convert the spare. No! And she knows it.
Yeah.
That frustration that we get as bowlers when you miss a spare.
Yeah, and that's over 60 pins down for Kenosha Tremper right now. Only 2 frames remaining in this game, and 1 additional game after the team switch lanes, and they're going to have to start putting a lot of strikes together and hope for a little help from Indian Trail to get back into this match. Erin Conley, high game 286, high series of 696. Likes to play lacrosse when she's not on the lanes.
Oh, too good of a ball. Wrap 10 pin.
It's one of those shots you see. She knows she threw a good shot. She's not upset. She's got the smile on the face. She knows it's time to go back, get the spare ball, refocus, make that corner pin, keep your team out to that big lead.
It's about staying calm, cool, collected, being a professional out there. There are people watching. You guys are watching at home. All of that stuff is a factor.
Love the ceiling tiles here at Castle Lanes. If you shoot a 300 game, paint a ceiling tile with a cartoon character or whatever you like.
Oh my goodness.
And the mistake is made, and still a big lead for Indian Trail, but that's just something you really don't want to do. Your last shot of one game before you're going to the other lane on the pair, time to get yourself refocused.
Courtney Weiss able to maybe take advantage here and put some pressure on is nice release. Right through the head pin again, though.
Yeah, and that's 3 consecutive shots we've seen now by Kenosha Tremper, but they've missed left, gone through the face. And the good news is they don't have the ball in lane 4 anymore. The bad news is that they don't have to stay on. You got to figure out lane 3 when they move over lane 3.
All right, let's get this spare. Or not. That is their 5th open of the match. Ball moved there a little bit, it looked like.
Yeah, she used her same ball, a reactive resin ball she uses for her strikes, and of course that ball is going to hook a little bit at the back end of the lane, and unfortunately right on top of that 6 pin.
Even if you think you can kill the hook, use a spare ball. Use a polyester ball.
Yes, indeed. It's the easiest way. All you're looking to do, get to point A to point B and just simply tip the pin over. Kowalski comes up a little high for the 4 pin.
Looking at the replay, yeah, I wasn't able to trip out that 4 pin.
Wow.
But made the ball change here, following our advice. Maybe she heard us.
Ashley wanted to thank her amazing team for all the support they give in their bowling. And, you're with these girls basically 3 months, day after day after day during this high school bowling season, practices, matches, and we have a substitution here, Erin Pfeiffer for Indian Trail. Erin is sophomore, and she's making sure that the scorekeeper has her down as a substitute. If you don't properly report your substitute, you do get 0 for that particular frame, so we want to make sure that Erin gets proper credit for all of her pins, and she'll get 8 of them down and a 199 for Indian Trail.
This is the time I would like to, go into the coaches. You know how they do on NFL games. Coach, why did you make that decision to put in Erin when you did? Interesting that they can do that, and they're in the 10th frame, maybe to feel out what's coming up for the next game?
Well, exactly. And you've been standing around for, as Montana Hernandez gets a crossover strike, you've been standing around for the entire game. You want to see how the lanes maybe change, and if some player starts having problems and goes a little bit cold, the other player knows where they can come in and still play the lane. So you usually see a lot of times in high school matches, the coaches will bring in that 6th bowler in the fill ball of the 10th frame just to make sure they get a shot in, and just to make sure that they are still in the feel of everything that's going on with the other 5 members of the team.
So there is some strategy when you approach a Baker-style format here. Good to know.
Correct, and we're not going to see that from Tremper because Tremper only bringing 5 girls to this event on their varsity, so they're using the same 5 all the way through. It'll be interesting to see if the coaches make any adjustments to the lineup as well in Game 2, if they change a leadoff bowler to a number 2 bowler or switch to the 1 and 5 bowlers. We'll have to see what the coaches do during the commercial break.
So a 199 for Indian Trail, just 2 opens in their game. A 136 with that spare from Montana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 opens for Kenosha Tremper. That's going to do it for our first game here, the 2017 Midwinter High School Classic. More to come from Castle Lanes in Racine. Don't go anywhere.
Providing premier equipment sales and services to Wisconsin bowlers since 1973. Check out our Wall of Fame and our current specials at bpsmilwaukee.com. Why do we have so many of our televised tournaments at Castle Lanes? Because we love being part of the wild side of bowling. If you're ready to get in touch with your wild side, go to castlelanes.com.
Welcome back to Castle Lanes here in Racine, Wisconsin. Dan McNeil alongside Phil Brilo for the 2017 Midwinter High School Classic. Game one, a little difficult there for Kenosha Tremper, Phil.
Yes, indeed. Quite a few open frames. 136. They find themselves at a 63-pin deficit to Indian Trail, and the Kenosha Tremper, they've got no option. They're pretty much in mandatory strike mode for the whole game here. You know that Indian Trail is not going to stumble in game two, and they really can put the pedal to the metal.
Kenosha Tremper during the break, rallying, getting the girls together and regrouping. Faith Reicha leading the way here in the second game and crosses over, gets into a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, 3-6, the makeable spare. Don't want to leave yourself with an early open and dig your team a bigger hole. So we'll have to see what she does here. She's 2 for 2 on her spare attempts in the first game, and she made the baby split in the sixth frame, so basically the same type of shot she had on that baby split to make the 3-6.
Faith throwing the mastermind during qualification and here, and able to convert the spare.
Rolls it up nicely for that cover. A long way to go for Kenosha Tremper, but never say die. We've seen big deficits overcome before on our television shows, and we've even seen 70-pin deficits overcome in one game.
One frame at a time. Focus on the task at hand.
Carly Dostal, big time pull on that shot, man.
Oh boy, yeah, got away from her. Total miss of target. She knows it.
Carly's not on the lanes. Plays in the band at Indian Trail, plays the alto saxophone.
Oh, a sax player.
For the Indian Trail band. So keeps herself busy off the lanes as well.
Fun in the summertime. Marching band. I used to do that.
Yeah, not that good this time of the year, though, in Wisconsin, unless you get to do it indoors somewhere.
Oh, it's those wool marching band suits. I don't know if the kids wear those these days. Nice conversion there.
Yeah, and a good break for Carly after that first shot, because usually in those head pin misses to the left, they usually leave that 8-pin back there, and she got lucky to roll it out on the first ball. Made that spare much easier to make.
And she knows that if you saw her talking with her teammates back there, she crossed her arm there. She knew she pulled it, so. Morgan Eidsor from the bowling family in Kenosha, also crossing over. What's going on here, Phil?
I think it's just a matter of the TV nerves a little bit, and you get a little fast to the line. Your shoulders have to close quickly to catch up, and they pull the ball through to the left. And not too often, I'm sure, that a 3-5-6 is shot at by Morgan Eidstorp.
15-year-old freshman out of Tremper, throwing the no rules during qualification. Here during the TV finals and able to convert the spare.
Big deficit for Tremper frames running out in a hurry. And Taylor Tilo stepping up. 2 strikes in her attempts in game one. See that shoulder nice and relaxed at setup. 4 steps to the line. On target line.
Nice into the pocket. That is a pretty strike.
I'll tell you what, you're looking for an MVP of this match right now. You gotta have to give it to Taylor Tilo. 3 strikes, 3 attempts for that young lady.
Pretty good outing. Crystal George and Tremper need to answer back here quick and get some strikes on the board. And look at that.
That's just a prime example right there. You don't need to hook the ball a lot to get all 10 pins down. If you get that ball into a strong roll through the 1-3 pocket, as we watch on the replay.
Yeah, the lock, she's throwing the lock right in the pocket. Mixes up those pins just.
Shea Dostal plays softball outside of the bowling season. I want to thank her team for being there and working hard. That ball almost worked hard, Van.
Yeah, it came in a little high. May have been ball speed, but you can see there, about 40 feet out, it starts to take off on you. Right there.
Yeah, and it's, once again, that very low, compact track on her bowling ball that really helps that ball get the movement from right to left through the pocket.
For you technical geeks bowling on a modified house shot. Whoa! I thought that was going to move and she was going to miss it. Able to convert it.
Yeah, well, if that would have been her strike ball, definitely would have missed it, but she switched to the polyester. Just let that ball get from point A to point B and tip the pin over.
Yes, youth bowlers, invest in a polyester ball. Straighter is greater. Courtney Weiss eases it right into the pocket there for Tremper. Nice.
Well, never say never. Tremper is definitely trying to rally here with a big double, but still a large deficit.
Yeah, game one, if you're just joining us, it was Indian Trail with a 199, Kenosha Tremper with a 136. It is a two-match total pin match here, so Kenosha needs to do some digging. They're working on it, Phil.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's only 56 pins, the deficit for Tremper. If they can get a couple of strikes up there and they get an opener two of Indian Trail, you can have yourself a match going in the last part of this game, too. Aaron Conley stepping up.
Look at the concentration. Nice and slow.
Love the slow
timing
step to get started. Small, good toss. Just not the 10.
No, not the right entry there, it looked like. Wasn't able to trip the 10 pin out. But for you youth bowlers that are watching, I know it's exciting and great to be up there and bowl, and you got to be doing stuff, but focus on the game and take a step back and breathe and look at her focus here. Nice and slow. Focus on what you're doing.
Absolutely. These kids learn as they get older. They get some solid coaching, and that's just off the thumb right away.
A lack of focus.
Well, I think it was more she was trying to flatten the ball out, man, because you can see how quickly it came off her thumb, and the roll was just end over end immediately. Just really something where timing got in the way a little bit. I don't think it was necessarily focus, but maybe just trying a little bit too hard, which is another thing that it's tough for these high school players to do sometimes. It's just let it happen.
Right. An opportunity, though, for Kenosha Tremper to take a lead here and take advantage, and Montana Hernandez, that's a turkey, Phil.
I'll tell you what, I think watching these young ladies today, Montana Hernandez has one of the best games out there. Very straight, a la Liz Johnson, but that strong roll. Look at that ball just go right through the pocket.
Right.
Ball speed, the key for a lot of these players. And she throws it firm, and she gets the ball to do the work.
Ashley Poblocki looking to get back on track here for Indian Trail.
Not surprised to see on Ashley's bio card. Her other interest outside of bowling is bowling.
Bowling.
It's that way with the Poblowski family. So
you don't become a legendary bowling family by not bowling all the time.
Exactly. Dad Gene, Mom Kelly, Sister Sarah, all big-time bowlers.
Able to convert the spare here, gets to it. Yep, absolutely. All right, more to come here from Castle Lanes in Racine. It is the 2017 Midwinter High School Classic. We will be right back. Welcome back to beautiful Racine, Wisconsin and Castle Lanes, where the 2017 Midwinter High School Classic continues. Kenosha Tremper digging, Phil. They continue to cut that lead.
Yeah, basically sliced the lead in half the first 5 frames of this game. Can Faith Richa step up here and add to the string of strikes for Tremper?
16-year-old sophomore gets away from her a little bit. Some trouble here.
And not the break she was looking for.
No.
The 4-pin getting kicked out by the head pin.
Interesting to see the replay here. Yeah, that just skirting by the 1-pin.
And now basically you need to hook into the 2-7 combination, have the 2-pin take out the 5, but there's that danger of the chop of the 5 when you do that. So let's see what happens on the spare.
The mastermind at it. What a conversion. That's as textbook as it gets there, Phil.
I'll tell you what, not the way I would have done it, but gets the 2-pin solidly onto that 7. Ball takes out the 5. Watch
beautiful conversion.
Absolutely. So there's more than one way to make those multiple pin spares. And great conversion there by Tremper and Faith Richa to keep her team in the match. Carly Dostal, though, She struck in the 6th frame coming out of the commercial break in Game 1.
She's been consistent even through Game 1 into Game 2 here, and that consistency continues. Oh,
woo. Tell you what, getting the love tap on the 10 here at Castle Lanes sometimes isn't the easiest thing to do.
That doesn't always happen here, does it?
Now watch the replay. That 6, 1, 2, 3 efforts onto the 10 pin before it knocks it over.
Another legendary bowling family here in Kenosha, Racine area. The Eidser family. Morgan, the 15-year-old freshman. I thought she was going to be able to cross over there, but no, the 3 pin.
Tremper not out of it yet. They're leaving themselves makeable spares, can still fill in frames, but if they keep throwing spares, they're going to need some help from Indian Trail with opens to come back and try to take this girls' championship here at the MidWinter Classic. They're going to need to throw some strikes in the last 3 frames to put any type of pressure on Indian Trail.
When Morgan isn't bowling, she's working at the family restaurant, Twisted Cuisine, down in Kenosha.
Yeah, that restaurant been around for quite a while.
Yeah.
Always heard good things about it. One of these days, I'm actually going to find my way to Kenosha and stop in. Sorry, guys, never been there yet, but
it is delicious.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it. Taylor Tilo stepping up, 3 strikes so far in 3 attempts.
The streak continues. Yeah.
A touch slow, a touch left, Van.
Baby split here in the 310. We've seen this converted today. And we see it again.
Another player here. Interest outside of bowling?
Bowling?
Bowling.
Yeah, of course.
So
that's the case with a lot of our high school bowlers here.
Indeed. Indian Trail, they bowl out of Tormson's Recreation Center in Kenosha. Kenosha Tremper bowls out of Sheridan Lanes, so 2 of the
very nice.
Two of the busiest centers in the Kenosha area, and great supporters, great youth programs in both of those centers.
Look at that, the conversion, the team spirit.
And I think with that conversion, Tremper's kind of sensing that, we've kind of locked this up right now.
Yeah, Crystal George, 15-year-old freshman here. Oh boy, the light hits and some trouble.
Yeah,
8-10.
You just see the reaction from the Tremper girls and coaches there. Just wins out of the sails now. It's pretty much official that they're done, and you just watch that ball deflects all the way past the pocket. The ball did not get into a strong roll. We saw the shot in the first game where she was a little farther to the right, let the ball roll up and carry. Ball got into a roll, that time in the oil for too long. No chance to carry the 8-10 out.
I will say, Phil, to come back from game 1 and having 5 opens, to getting back on the horse, honing it in and focusing, and that's their first miss of the game. So
yeah, and they gave it a charge back for the title. Indian Trail still had to work all the way through to get the championship here. Shea Dostal, a little light in the pocket.
Light. Yeah, just because you're down and out doesn't mean you give up. Kenosha Tremper, perfect example here.
These teams see each other in District 3A high school competition a couple times a season. They're going to probably see each other at the state tournament. They're both going to be in contention for when that happens that first weekend of March at AMF Bolero in Milwaukee. And they want to, they're friends off the lanes. They see each other all the time, but when they're out there enough, they want to beat each other's brains out and win for their team.
Absolutely. You said it earlier. We were talking about teams that have been in 50, 60, 70 pin deficits and have been able to come back and be victorious. Courtney Weiss, 16-year-old junior out of Tremper, wants to thank the team, dad, coach as well, throwing the venom that got away from her there.
Yeah, you see Jerry Schultz in the gray there. He coordinates both the teams for Kenosha Tremper, boys and girls teams. And I'll tell you what, lots of volunteers for these young high school players that have been working with them for years, even when the coaches' kids are no longer part of the program. They stick around and they come back and they help out. I saw David Giroux, whose daughter Savannah graduated from the Indian Trail program last year, come back and help out with getting these teams ready for the championship match, because Dave's been there as the head coach before. He got them the state title last year as head coach.
When Courtney's not bowling, you want to know what she's doing?
Let me guess. Bowling?
No, swimming.
Oh, hey,
swimming.
How about that?
I like the dance moves here. I like the dance moves, keeping it loose.
Exactly. Erin Conley keeping it loose, and she's very deliberate. She goes through that same set routine every time. That's a great habit to have. It's going to make you a better player, whether you're a once-a-week league bowler or you're bowling all kinds of tournaments like these high school ladies are.
I will say, you're there to have some fun. You're very competitive. Yes, we want to beat each other. That's fine. But dancing there at the beginning, keeping it light, and then the eyes of the tiger, like super focused in there.
Well, it's kind of funny because back in the day, when Jack Nicklaus used to talk about how he focused the 7 or 8 seconds before his shot, during the shot, and let it go right after because he felt if he over-focused that he would really burn himself out. And our friend from the 11thframe.com website, Jeff Rickles, believes in that same thing. He'll look at his phone, he'll read a magazine I think, between shots. Just because if you over-focus, you might burn yourself out. And Aaron Conley, a prime example of showing the under-focus between shots, but when you're on the lanes, the focus is laser sharp.
It's all about business. Analysis through paralysis through analysis.
Yep, and I'm the same way off the lanes. I mean, we bowled the Waukesha City team tournament recently.
Yep.
You know, here I am on the front 7 strikes, and here I am talking to somebody while I'm on the approach about a great fish fry in the area. So got myself refocused through the 8th one.
Everybody has their routine. Montana Hernandez in the routine of striking.
I will tell you what, when Montana gets to learn a couple different hand positions to kind of change the role as she gets in the tougher conditions in college bowling, I think you could see her as a number 1 or number 2 player for some college program if they're smart enough to recruit her. She's got the ball speed needed.
Absolutely.
She's got the spare making game. She doesn't give pins away. She could be a great young talent when she goes to college. So, college coaches that are watching this, and I know you are, get a hold of Montana Hernandez's parents and let them know that you're looking for a quality player like her.
Yeah, junior out of Kenosha Trumpeter, only 16 years old. She started bowling at the age of 9. Her high game at 279, a first-place finish in the state doubles, and looks like she went to grab. It's her spare ball. That's her spare ball. Okay.
Oh yeah. Every shot, you don't give away anything. You learn a little bit of something. So. Well, that one she just grabbed onto too much as she tried to shoot at 6'10", and probably a little frustration as well with not winning this match. But a nice bounce-back game for Kenosha Trumpeter. They may not have taken home the championship, but they didn't just roll over either.
Absolutely. Again, staying focused, and you keep on digging. You don't give up. You keep fighting, and you never know what's going to happen here. But the Indian Trail, without a doubt, here going to take this one.
Ashley Poblaski, your teammates call her Legs for an obvious reason.
Oh, man.
Almost the 7-9-10 there on the high head.
Never seen that before on TV.
You see her sister Sarah there kind of give her the business a little bit before handing her the spare ball. That can't be
nice leave, sis.
It's gotta be interesting having a parent as a coach for you, but then to have a sibling as a coach.
Right.
That can make life interesting on a team as well.
Able to convert the spare here. Oh well, that's all right though. That's a win.
That is the championship for Indian Trail, the big 372 to 334 win.
More. The boys are up next, Phil, from Castle Lanes here in Racine. The 2017 MidWinter High School Classic continues next.
Why do we have so many of our televised tournaments at Castle Lanes? Because we love being part of the wild side of bowling. If you're ready to get in touch with your wild side, go to castlelanes.com. Barbiere's Italian Inn, featured in onmilwaukee.com's In Search of the Perfect Pizza in January 2013. Near Miller Park on Blue Mountain Road and on Milwaukee Avenue in South Milwaukee.
Welcome IAB members. This is Bowler's Pro Shop and I'm Joe Serrar, and today we're going to talk about things you need to tell your pro shop operator when entering his or her establishment when you're looking for a new ball. One of the first things I think you got to let them know is what weight you currently use if you have your own ball, and if you're comfortable with that weight, because that's one of the most important factors. Too light of a ball and you're going to muscle it and overthrow it. Too heavy of a ball and you're going to labor through the release zone and not put your best release into the ball. So the weight is very important. Secondly, you need to let your pro shop operator know if you throw a straight ball or if you throw some type of hooking action. There's many ball choices on the market today, from hard plastic and urethanes, which have minimal hook, to entry-level resins, to mid-range resins that offer more hook due to the core design. So you need to let your pro shop operator know, again, if you're comfortable throwing straight or hooking the ball. Nextly, you want to let them know how often you bowl. If you're a once-a-month player, once-a-year player, or say 2 or 3 times a week, they need to know the frequency of play, basically what your current average is. Also, what your lane play ability is. Do you have a defined zone that you like to play only and you feel uncomfortable moving outside that range? And again, this is something that plays into the layout choice that the pro shop operator may give you. If I know someone can only stand on the big dot and throw a second arrow, I'm not going to do too exotic of a layout where the pin is located up here, which can cause the ball to react too strong on the end, and it's hard to control. You may then choose a pin below the fingers, make it more controllable, more easy to read. And again, these are all things that are helpful to me for me to do my best job to help you. You can also let the pro shop operator know what your current ball is. And say you're using a Storm Lucid and you're looking for a ball that has a little less hook and a little more length, then they can offer the appropriate ball to complement your current ball choice. There's so many things you need to let them know, and then when the fitting process begins, it's just like when you go into an eyeglass store, you have to let the optometrist know if you see this letter more clear than another. You need to let the pro shop operator know, oh, this hurts, or I feel pressure here. And you also need to let your pro shop operator know what grip choice you prefer, if you know the differences between conventional grip, where the fingers go fully inserted, semi-fingertip, or fingertip. You need to let them know what you're comfortable using, or possibly what you want to try in the future. Last thing we tend to talk about is price range. Do you feel comfortable at an entry-level price range, which will generally be $120 and below, more mid-priced, $120 to $170, or are you willing to go into the upper echelon of ball products, providing it's the right ball choice for you? So these are all things you need to think about prior to going into your pro shop. You don't really want to choose a ball just by name or by color. You want to get the right product that matches up for your game, so it allows you to play where you're comfortable playing and matches up to the intended lane condition that you're on. I hope this helps, and if you have any other questions, just hop on the Circle website, and I'll be more than willing to help answer them, as will Bill Spigner.
Why do we have so many of our televised tournaments at Castle Lanes? Because we love being part of the wild side of bowling. If you're ready to get in touch with your wild side, go to castlelanes.com.
Live, on demand, worldwide, Extra Frame is always on. It's the online bowling channel. Watch live qualifying rounds and match play from every PBA Tour stop and every PBA 50 Tour event on your big screen, PC, mobile phone, or tablet. Archived nationally televised shows and content is available 24/7. Extra Frame is always on. Subscribe now at www.extraframe.tv.
Castle Lanes in Racine, Wisconsin is the place for the 2017 MidWinter High School Classic. Good day, Van Neal alongside Phil Brilo. We saw the girls, we saw Kenosha Tremper and Indian Trail battle it out. It's the boys' turn, Phil.
Yeah, and another appearance by Kenosha Tremper in the finals by the boys' team, taking on another Kenosha team, Kenosha Bradford.
Ooh, bragging rights here in K-Town.
Yeah, Tremper looking to get one of the two titles out of this Midwinter Classic Championship, as we've got,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, Jared Raymer starting things off.
Not wasting any time, getting right to business and mixing up those pins for a strike.
No doubt about that. And you're going to see the pace pretty fast and furious. Both these teams know what they want to do when they get on the approach.
Just like the girls, 2-game Baker format, total pin. And Tremper into some trouble here right off the get-go for Chris D. Cesaro.
3, 6, and 10. We've seen lane 4. It seems to be hooking a bit more than lane 3 all day long, so I'm sure with that adjustment, Cesaro, he's passing that information along to his teammates. Bowlers did get some quick practice on the pair.
Chris throwing the Jackal LE during qualifying here on TV as well, and not able to convert that spare.
And a little bit too much on the 3-pin, sends the 6 around the 10, and an early open for Tremper. And that's what we saw the girls get into trouble with Tremper in that opening match. Boys need to stop the bleeding right away as Sam Strash steps up for Kenosha Bradford.
Especially when you're going up against Bradford.
Big high backswing, high revs coming through, and 10 back. And tell you what, these teams have Tremper's numbers so far. Indian Trail started with the early 3-bagger against Tremper, and now Kenosha Bradford, the early double after a Tremper open.
Pretty release, pretty ball, pretty strike. Isaac Lewis is a 16-year-old junior out of Tremper. Looking to get them back. Oh, almost got stuck where there's the 7-10.
Yeah, that 5 and 7 fell a little bit late there with the pins rattling around. You look at the replay here, you're going to see that ball deflect after it hits the 1-3, and the 5-pin gets kind of bounced by the 2-pin a bit.
Yeah, it looks like the 4 took out the 7 instead of the 1. All kinds of different pin action there.
Polyester ball for the spare, and once again, bowlers get a little quick to the line. They're so worried about maybe getting a little more ball speed on it. When you switch to polyester, you don't need the extra speed. It's not going to hook naturally. They just need to learn to relax it. Tyler Kaka, a junior at Bradford.
Nice and easy right to the line. Another strike.
3 in a row for Bradford to start. And for a young man that has no interest outside of bowling,
Other than
bowling, we can see why Bradford's out to this big early lead. They're not wasting any time. 2 opens by Tremper, stepping on the gas pedal right away.
Tyler McNutt going to change things here. The 18-year-old senior out of Tremper.
We saw McNutt.
Oh boy! Oh boy!
We saw McNutt with Eidstor in the mixed doubles championship recently on TV, where they took a 3rd place finish.
This one just ball grab, came in flush on the head pin and got out of some trouble there with some pin action, luckily.
Yeah, I think Tremper, the last 2 players in the lineup, are going to probably want to move a little bit left on the approach and throw it a little bit farther right than they did during practice. Looks like lane 4 is starting to hook.
That was almost their 3rd open for Tremper. Boy, they got some work to do there. Again, back to the transition that you were talking about and the other players telling, well, here's what's happening now. Because you saw in the background, they were paying attention to what the girls were doing. They're looking for that transition.
No real after the girls match. Ethan Kreitz, sophomore, stepping up for Bradford, looking for 4 in a row for the team.
Hey! You 10-pin.
Yeah, a great toss there. I mean, not much you can do to change that.
No.
Ball definitely not weak, just a little deflection. 6 goes around 10. And now it's just refocused. Time to make the spare.
Absolutely. Battle of Kenosha here. Bradford and Tremper going in. The 2017 MidWinter High School Classic. Ooh.
I think he was just he was a little overcautious. You look at how fast he went up on his first ball in the release, and he kind of slowed down to try to fit the ball on the lane for the spare.
Yeah.
He just left it a little right at target, falls in the gutter, and now here's a chance for Kenosha Tremper to try to start slicing with a deficit.
The Cesaro family. We've been talking about legendary bowling families here in the Racine and Kenosha area. The Cesaro family, definitely one of them. Nick here, a senior at Tremper, and a lot of hand in that ball.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if I'm Kenosha Bradford, I'm taking notes on what's happening on lane 4 right now, because they're not going to get the practice when we go to the commercial break between games 1 and 2. They're going to have to make the move off of where they're playing on lane 3, and bet you they're probably going to have to. It's probably hooking 4 to maybe even 5 boards more on lane 4 right now.
We even mentioned that during the girls. We had noticed about 45 feet out it started to move, even more so here with the boys as they bring more hand to the ball. But still, task on hand, Nick able to convert the spare for Tremper.
And now coming up from Bradford, Sarah Carlson. Yes, it is a young lady bowling on the boys team. The rules with high school bowling in Wisconsin is if a school does not have enough girls to field a girls team, they can bowl as a co-ed team in the boys division. And so Sarah Carlson's strong bowling anchor right now.
A little light,
Bradford.
but still.
Yeah, talked to Coach Ken Woods for Bradford before this championship match started. And Ken basically said the reason why he has Sarah at the anchor position, he knows she's going to be around the pocket consistently. He feels more confidence in her than the other players at being around the pocket, especially if he gets to a situation. He goes, if I need just a mark in the 10th frame, I know she's going to come through.
It's interesting what strategy goes into Baker-style format bowling here.
It really is, because there's a lot of times where you get to the 10th frame in a match, and it's not the double to win, it's a mark to win.
Right.
And if you have somebody on your team that's going to be able to, to strike, either always strikes or always opens bowlers, he's not going to be good for you in the 10th frame.
Right.
Young lady like Sarah right there, you know she's going to mark in the 10th, that's where you want there.
Justin Smith, two-handed bowler, not able to trip that 10-pin, a 16-year-old junior out of Tremper. And madness out there on the lanes.
And I'll tell you what, you think with all those revolutions at speed, that ball would have gotten to a strong roll, but it didn't. Ball just kind of lagged getting to the pocket. You saw the deflection after the ball hit the 1-3. No chance for that 6-pin to go down.
Interesting, two-handed for the first ball, but a thumb hole and picking up the spare on the second ball. We're going to get into that and the second half of the boys' championship here. It's the 2017 Midwinter High School Classic from Castle Lanes in Racine, Wisconsin. We will be right back.
Providing premier equipment sales and services to Wisconsin bowlers since 1973. Check out our Wall of Fame and our current specials at bpsmilwaukee.com.
Welcome back to Castle Lanes in Racine, Wisconsin. Van McNeil alongside Phil Brilo. Game 1 of the boys' championship match for the 2017 Midwinter High School Classic. A 33-pin lead for Bradford.
Well, I'll tell you what, Bradford, our number 3 qualifier coming in today, only had to win 2 matches to get into this championship. They defeated McGuanago after being down 2-0, took the last 3 games from McGuanago to win that match 3-2. And then advanced against Greenfield in the semifinals and beat Greenfield 3-2 as well.
I'm hungry, Phil. That dinner bucket is ready to go.
Yes, indeed. A little quick getting in the pocket. You can see the ball just kind of turn and roll out. No strength on the ball roll. And, yeah, it is dinner time.
You hear us talking about Kenosha Bradford. Who are they bowling? Oh, they're rivals. Tremper. It's a battle of Kenosha here in Raytown.
It's been Kenosha all day long here on the finals of this Midwinter Classic.
Oh my goodness.
And now that's going to leave a big opening for Kenosha Tremper to cut into the deficit. Only getting a single pin on that conversion after a 6 count on a spare.
Right.
That's a lot of pins to give away.
Open up the match strong with 3 strikes and open. And now another open here. But the Di Cesaro bowling dynasty in Chris, the 15-year-old freshman out of Tremper. Straighter is greater. Nice pocket strike.
The Walter A. Williams-esque roll from the early 2000s with the end over end, getting that ball through the pocket to drive, and watch that 6 kick out the 10.
Throwing that jackal. Not too much movement there for Chris Di Cesaro.
Sam Strash, freshman, likes baseball and football when he's not out on the lanes.
I like his approach, his style, and he's able to get that 7-pin out of there now.
A little quicker than his first shot. You can see the ball just not quite respond to friction as quickly. And the head pin really doesn't do a lot of work off the sideboards. Gets to the 4-pin, but doesn't stay out enough to get to the 7.
Nice and smooth, though, in his approach in that first ball. And keeping that lead arm out and not to the side. Out and down.
Yep. You're going to stay with the strike ball. He knows there's a little oil in the middle of the lane, so you want to make sure the ball gets through it. And polyester would not. Reactive resin does, and he's dead on top of that 7-pin.
Yeah, there's something to be said about style there, and he's getting that leverage there by keeping his left arm pointed down. Great stuff. I like his style, Phil. Over to Kenosha Tremper now, and 16-year-old Isaac Lewis, a junior. High game, 272. He started bowling at the age of 5.
Yeah, if they can get a double on the board here, you get that lead to under 25 pins.
For a second, I thought Isaac was a two-handed bowler. he was holding it a very interesting way there.
Yeah, he does keep that front hand on the ball all the way to the bottom of the downswing. Then releases it, but keeps, as you said before, the arm in front of him, helps the shoulders to rotate through.
Yep.
But a tough spare here with the 1, 2, 4, and 8.
A Kenosha Junior City tournament winner, not able to convert that spare.
And I think what we're starting to see now on lane 4 is a bit of over-under between all the players. They've burned up a spot at the edge of the heavier concentration of the oil pattern. Isaac tried moving left on that shot to get it to hold. Too much oil there, slides past the pocket. So that lane's going to be really tricky for Kenosha Bradford when they move. So this match is far from over.
Yeah, it'll be hard to see what they're going to deal with here. We'll find out in just a moment. But anything can happen here. We saw it in the last game with the girls with the Kenosha Tremper digging out. Here we have Tyler McNutt and a McStrike.
And a big, powerful strike there for Kenosha Tremper. And boy, if Isaac Lewis could get that shot back in the 7th frame and put a strike on the board so they open, this match would practically be tied right now.
Tyler McNutt, a senior, 2 300 games. Again, started bowling at the age of 5.
Yeah, another bowler started at the age of 5 here with Ethan Kreutz. He has a 300 game to his credit as well.
Nice and smooth. Got out of trouble with some luck there, able to trip the 7.
Yeah, once again, a little slow on the speed, a little left to target. You can make one of those mistakes on this pattern here at Castle Lanes. You can't make both. And the big break leave just a 6-pin.
Should be able to convert here.
Learned his lesson from the 10-pin. No, I guess not. 2 single-pin misses for Kreutz.
Well.
And boy, imagine what that lead would be if Kreutz would have had both those right side spares converted. And he didn't miss that 6-pin by much. He was right on top of that 10-pin.
I wonder what Bradford's going to be working on practice this week.
Yeah, Bradford bowls out of Surfside Lanes in Kenosha. The Hedges family, great owners there, and they have a solid youth program as well, and that's another great bowling family in Kenosha.
Pretty strike from Nick DiCesaro, the 17-year-old senior out of Tremper. Boom go the pins in the pit.
Well, and look at it now. We've got ourselves a match, fan. All it takes is 1 or 2 mistakes by one team, and a team putting a couple of strikes together. But this is where you want a bowler like Sarah Carlson up, because you know she's not going to give away anything in the 10th frame.
And this is just the first game, too. These teams are going to switch lanes, and Bradford discovered Tremper's troubles on lane 4. A high strike.
But that's where the subtle entry angle of Sarah Carlson carried that strike. The boys on Tremper, most of them probably would have carried that. They would have left the 4-pin. But with that, you watch the 2-pin come off the sideboard. Doesn't have a lot of angle on it. Is able to get back out and take the 4 on the 7.
It's interesting. Your bowling coach is almost like your baseball coach. All right, Sarah, you're up. You're going to go in. You got the right hand for the ball, and the oil pattern is going to work. Trust in your teammates. Pretty. Not that wasn't so cool.
No, and it was she kind of moved a little to the right on that shot to begin with, trying to make the adjustment. I actually probably would have moved a little bit left if I was Sarah to try to combat the 4-pin. That one just kind of hooked early and high, leaves yourself the baby split, but do your best to convert it here. Keep your team in the lead going into game 2, and then you're going to have to figure out that tricky lane 4 as Bradford gets over here to what seems to be the easier lane 3.
We'll see as the action continues here. 177 for Kenosha Bradford.
But Kenosha Tremper can take the lead. Their maximum score here, 192.
If they can go off the sheet of 192, Justin Smith, the 16-year-old junior.
Here's where you prove your salt as an anchor bowler.
Oh my goodness. That is some trouble, Phil.
Yeah, no projection left, no projection right on that shot. Stayed inside where it's the heavier concentration of oil, and we know that ball is not going to tip over as quickly. No chance getting away from solid on the headpin.
Even thought maybe that ball, with all the revolutions and the rev rate that he has, would have crossed over, just swimming in there up the middle.
And he's more of an end-over-end player, so he doesn't get a lot of the side rotation we see out of Anthony Simonson or Jason Belmonte.
You get this spare? Nope. All right, more. The Battle of Kenosha continues here in Racine at Castle Lanes. It's the 2017 MidWinter High School Classic. More after after the break.
Why do we have so many of our televised tournaments at Castle Lanes? Because we love being part of the wild side of bowling. If you're ready to get in touch with your wild side, go to castlelanes.com.
That's where we are. Van McNeil alongside Phil Brillo, Castle Lanes, Racine, Wisconsin, in the 2017 Midwinter High School Classic. We've seen the girls. We're in the middle of the boys' match here.
And I'll tell you what, Bradford holding on to a 20-pin lead, but Kenosha Tremper started to look like they were getting ranged in a bit at the end of game one. Teams have switched lanes. Lane 3 seemed a little bit easier all day for the teams.
Chris DiCesaro, the 15-year-old freshman, able to gain a strike here.
And once again, you see lane 3 going a little bit longer. These bowlers can get the ball down the lane a little bit further, a little more angle on the pocket, and maybe a little bit better carrying for Tremper this game as Jarrett Raymer, the sophomore, steps up for Kenosha Bradford.
Let's see what happens here. About 35 feet out. Watch the ball.
He's playing the oil line, so Bradford making the decision to play the oil line and not play the dry to start
interesting. Interesting.
But a shot that misses a little left there is definitely going to be a split with those angles they're playing. It's going to be, as you said, what are they going to do as the match goes on?
Right. Isaac Lewis, 16-year-old junior, Tremper. One-handed bowler, not a two-handed bowler. Got away from him again. Almost left similar leave last time.
Yeah, and once again, light in the pocket, and the 2, 4, 5, and 7. A lot of ways to miss the spare. You want to hit the 2, 5 like it's a pocket, and have the 2 hit the 4, 4 hit the 7. You can try to hit a crossover type shot too, have the ball take out the 2, 4, 7, and the 2 slide into 5, but lots of ways pins can get left here.
When Isaac isn't bowling, he's playing football or basketball, and that got away from him there. Wow.
Yeah, and a early open for Tremper in this match, and we saw Bradford do it in game one. Tremper left him a couple of early opens. They started throwing strikes. Let's see if Sam Strash can get an early double again for Bradford during game two.
Look at his style here. Look at his approach. That left arm stays down. Look at that leverage. That's beautiful. That's lucky. That's not so beautiful. That's lucky right there.
To cave the 5 to the right and the 9 to the left. Yeah, that is a big break right there for Bradford early on in this championship match game two.
Tyler McNutt looking to get Tremper back on track here. Can't trip that 10-pin with his Cyclone.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of players make the adjustment on the lane 3. They know it's going to play a little tighter than 4. Hit the pocket a couple times for Tremper, but only 1 strike to show for it so far in the first 3 frames. As we're looking for the spare ball here.
Spare ball
still left on the ball return on 5 and 6.
From qualifying.
The bowlers aren't used to having all this room in a match at the high school matches. Usually it's trying to jam 25 bowling balls into the bowlers area, along with the coaches, the players, the fans, and everyone else. So.
Tyler wants to give a shout out to his double partner Morgan and to Brad, able to pick up the 10-pin there. Yeah, keep track of your equipment, kids.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Tyler Kaka stepping up on the double for Bradford here in frame 3. Piping it up the oil line and a huge break.
Wasn't able to find the pocket there, but like you said, Phil, that could have ended badly.
Well, it's an interesting strategy that Bradford is taking here because they saw the struggles Tremper had trying to get the ball to the dry and come back on a consistent basis. So play the oil line, play it tight, but you know you're going to have to make better shots than the other team to play that tighter line. You don't have the miss room left like the other players had trying to get it to the dry.
Back over to Kenosha Tremper and Nick DeCesaro.
It's only a 43-pin lead for Bradford right now. We've seen 30, 40 pins get lost in 3 or 4 frames. We saw that in the girls' championship match where Tremper started making that comeback early in game number 2.
17-year-old senior here with 300 games. Nice release. A nice strike for Nick.
I'll tell you what, that extra hold that they have on lane 3, along with a little bit of the miss room right to get the ball to hook back,
Yeah, that
So
would
the overhook,
that-
it's going to be interesting as the match proceeds.
That would not have been a strike on lane 4 for now.
That probably would have gone through the nose because it would have caught the extra dry on the outside part of the lane and overhooked through. Ethan Kreutz, sophomore, stepping up.
Unique approach. Pretty off the hand. Get a break and a Brooklyn, sure.
I'll tell you what, you hate to say luck is a part of bowling, and it
It
is.
It is. It
And-
definitely is.
And right now, I mean, that's a couple of stabs at the heart of Kenosha Tremper with 2 crossover strikes for Bradford in the first 4 frames, and that's what's keeping them in the lead right now.
Justin Smith looking to tear that rack apart. Stone 10 pin.
And once again, Justin, he needs to learn to read that ball a little bit better when it's going down the lane because it has the high revs, it has the ball speed, but you see how much deflection that ball almost goes into the 10-pin spot.
Right.
The ball is not rolling strong into the pocket.
Throwing that Brunswick revolver in qualifying and here in TV land.
Yeah, he actually needs a stronger piece of equipment to get that ball to flip over, roll stronger, and actually carry through the pocket.
Even with all the revs that Justin has on that ball, you suggest strong.
Guys on the PBA Tour, they will use a strong ball for as long as possible to make sure they can carry as many pins as they can through the pocket. Cyril Carlson, high on the nose, but leaves the 6-10.
Still our anchor bowler.
Yeah, Ken Woods, he's made the move so far. It's worked for his team. They're in the lead. She's filling frames. She got a strike in the 10th frame of game 1.
And that strategy you had mentioned earlier from Coach, she's going to be consistent. She's going to be near the pocket, and especially here on lane 4, that's what you're looking for. All right, the nice spare conversion from Sarah and Bradford. More of the 2017 Midwinter High School Classic. We're at Castle Lanes in Racine, Wisconsin. We'll be right back with the second half.
Barbiere's Italian Inn, featured in onmilwaukee.com's In Search of the Perfect Pizza in January 2013. Near Miller Park on Blue Mound Road and on Milwaukee Avenue in South Milwaukee.
Welcome back to the beautifully decorated Castle Lanes here in Racine, Wisconsin. Van McNeil alongside Phil Brylo for the 2017 Midwinter High School Classic.
That is one Natalie dressed duck there, Van. I'll tell you what. Phil Anko, Patty Anko, and their great staff here at Castle Lanes. They've hosted us for so many events over the year. This is the 8th time we've been here for the Midwinter High School Classic. We cannot do it without their support. Thank them once again from the bottom of our hearts.
And if you have not been here to Castle Lanes in Racine, one of the most beautifully decorated bowling alleys in the nation, it was voted a few years ago. It is beautiful in here. Come visit Castle Lanes in Racine. Chris DiCesaro for Kenosha Tremper into a little bit of trouble here as we get back to the action.
Yeah, Tremper down 44 pins with 5 frames to go, and they're going to start needing a lot of strikes in a hurry and to catch some breaks from Bradford in order to come back and take this championship match. But you got to keep filling frames, and DiCesaro does it right there.
Big thank you to Lenny Borsch at the Bowler's Choice Shop for drilling up his balls.
And then, of course, right here at Castle Lanes in Racine.
Yep.
Jarrett Raymer looking to keep things going for Kenosha Bradford.
Solid to the line. Get a break. Another. Is that the third Brooklyn?
That is the third of Brooklyn in this game for Kenosha Bradford, and you know that Kenosha Tremper is saying themselves right now, you have to be kidding me. But if you're going to make a mistake in the sport of bowling, a lot of times bigger mistakes happen.
And a substitution here. We've got Ethan Gorzelski.
That's a heck of a sub effort right there.
Hello, the sophomore out of Tremper.
And that's after sitting on the bench for the first
Yeah.
game and a half. And Isaac Lewis struggling a bit, so the coaches make the move, put Ethan in, and next thing you know, that could be the start of a rally for Tremper.
The Columbia 300 freeze that he's throwing finds the pocket.
Sam Strash looking to get another double on the board.
Man, I like Strash's style. Even though that's their fourth Brooklyn of the game, that lead arm, that approach, he's nice and slow up to the line. Granted, it was a Brooklyn. It was a nice approach. He's got a good style. Tyler McNutt out of Kenosha Tremper. Also another kid with nice style. able to find another strike.
Well, I'll tell you what, Trent saying to themselves right now, we keep hitting the pocket, we're going to keep carrying. You can't carry all day in the crossover pocket. And now it's up to Tyler Kaka to see if he can get back on the right side of the lane here. Not going to happen.
They're going to keep it Brooklyn because they're lucky on that side. Let's make it 5. Is this my PBA effort in the summer swing in 2013? Because that's what I did.
I'll tell you what, 5 crossover strikes in the first 8 frames for Bradford.
And Kenosha Tremper, they're beside themselves here.
This is just one of those cases, and unfortunately it happens in the sport of bowling that sometimes if there were bonus points for hitting your target and having consistent ball speed added to your score, Tremper would be in the lead. Unfortunately, it's just a matter of all 10 pins fall.
Nick DeCesaro with the strike, the 17-year-old senior. We got ourselves a game here.
It's still not over yet. The maximum score here now for Kenosha Tremper is still 225. If Bradford opens, that's a couple of, they can find themselves in the 180s, and that would be a loss for Bradford. So Bradford still needs to keep filling frames here in these last 2 frames.
And it's been mostly crossover strikes here on lane 4, the very unpredictable lane 4. But if they found their own lane, by all means, I guess keep going for it.
Yeah, I mean, right now, all Bradford needs to do is fill the last 2 frames, and they're going to take home this title. And another big break for Bradford through the nose, breaks up the split, leaves just a 6-pin. And if Ethan Kreutz can cover this up here, it's pretty much match over.
Pretty good day of bowling here. This is a fast-paced Baker action here. Able to convert that spare. Yes.
Well, Ethan, his first 2 times up on lane 3, went behind the 10-pin into the gutter and then went behind the 6-pin on his 2 single-pin attempts. Now he gets that single-pin cover. Notice how he played it a little bit more to the left, and almost too much to the left. So Justice Smith right now, it's just a matter of he strikes out. Bradford just needs to get solid count first ball of the 10th frame from Cyril Carlson.
Look out for this rev rate. Look out. It's going to get you. It's going to get all 10 pins in the pit, too.
Well, little payback for Tremper there. Errant shot, crossover strike, carries. Why? I'm left-handed. I don't carry the left side that well, Van, as well as these 2 teams are today.
The Tremper's going, hey, we can crossover strikes, too.
But they know, it's pretty much match over. 225, their maximum here. That would just have Cyril Carlson basically need 7 pins, or actually 6 pins on the first ball and the 10th to lock it up.
16-year-old junior out of Tremper, Justin Smith. The 2-hander, and the rev rate helping him out, really mixing up those pins in the pit.
Yes, indeed. And hey, looking at for Bradford, they came back out of the commercial break. Other than the light shot by Chris DeCesaro, they strung 5 in a row here. I mean, they really put up the fight.
That's pretty good.
And they have to look at it this way: it's a moral victory. Yes, we're not taking home the title, but we threw the ball better in game 2. We put up the score, and we made them fill frames in order to take home that title. We did our job the second game. We didn't just fall out. We didn't just give up after the other team got a couple of good breaks. We just kept fighting.
Not able to get that strike there in the final frame of the 10th, but a good outing for Tremper nonetheless at 224.
Yeah, right now 5 pins on the first ball for Sarah Carlson, and she locks up the title. Obviously, 2-game total pin match here. But they can still max out at 238 for their final game. And
What? That hit the pocket.
well,
See what happens when you don't cross over on lane 4?
Yeah, in the oil, and Sarah, not a high rev rate player, and that ball you just see, and not an aggressive bowling ball cover either. That Motive Octane, very weak cover on that bowling ball through reactive resin. Great for her with her ball speed and control, but she needed to find a little bit more drive.
A makeable baby split here. Let's see if Sarah can do it. Wow, that's,
That makes Coach Ken Woods from Bradford, that's prophetic right there. That is prophetic because she's filling frames. A tough split like that, 5-8-10. I would give most people, an average league bowler, a 10% chance of making that split. She covers it like she's left it all the time. We know she rarely leaves that. Great shot there by Sarah Carlson to wrap up the championship for Kenosha Bradford.
Let's see if she can finish this out with a strike.
A little better roll on that ball. And you see the difference.
Yeah. But that just shows how tricky lane 4 was. So, After our two-game total, it's Kenosha Bradford 401, Kenosha Tremper 381, just 20 pins, Bill.
I'll tell you what, great battle the second game. Bradford, couple extra breaks, brings home the title.
We're going to wrap it up here from Castle Lanes in Racine next. Don't go anywhere.
Why do we have so many of our televised tournaments at Castle Lanes? Because we love being part of the wild side of bowling. If you're ready to get in touch with your wild side, go to castlelanes.com.
Live, on demand, worldwide, Extra Frame is always on. It's the online bowling channel. Watch live qualifying rounds and match play from every PBA Tour stock and every PBA 50 Tour event on your big screen, PC, mobile phone, or tablet. Archived nationally televised shows and content is available 24/7. Extra Frame is always on. Subscribe now at www.extraframe.tv.
Welcome back to Castle Lanes here in Racine, Wisconsin. Van McNeil alongside Phil Brylow. Phil, my goodness, what a great day of high school bowling here. And congratulations to our champions.
Well, Van, Indian Trail's second year in a row they take home the title. Started game one with a three-bagger early in the second, third, and fourth frames and cruised to the title 372 to 344 over Kenosha Tremper. Then for the boys' championship, Kenosha Tremper once again puts up a valiant fight against Kenosha Bradford. But Bradford gets some breaks in game number 2, takes advantage of 3 crossover strikes for the team, and Bradford takes home the 401 to 381 victory.
Well, for Phil Brylow and the entire crew here at Castle Lanes in Racine, I'm Van McNeil. To watch replays of all of our past telecasts, you can always tune in to Essential Bowling Concepts on YouTube.